today's video, I'm going to talk about what happens after a shoplifting charge in Florida. My name's Adam Rossen, the founder and owner of the Rossen Law Firm, and we are criminal and white-collar defense attorneys in the state of Florida. I'm a former prosecutor. We've tried hundreds, if not thousands, of these type of cases, and my team of attorneys and I, this is what we do. We help good people when bad things happen. We have over 600 five-star reviews all out there on the internet, and we're very proud of that because that shows that we help good people when something bad happens, and we build real relationships with our clients. And by the end of this video, I want you to know everything there is to know about what happens in the immediate aftermath and then throughout when you get a shoplifting charge in Florida. First of all, depending on the value, the police will do different things. So if the value is at a misdemeanor level, if it's under $750, then there's a very good chance you'll be let go with what's called a notice to appear. Now, a notice to appear is a written arrest. So it's the same functional equivalent as an arrest, but you're not actually handcuffed and physically taken to the jail. You're not booked. You're not processed at the county jail. You don't have to bond out. So all in all, that's much better situation. So when you get a notice to appear, even though it's better for you, you still have criminal charges. It's the same functional equivalent. But there are some potential problems. So a lot of people will get a written arrest, the notice to appear, or an NTA, and they'll think, oh, it's no big deal. I'll just go to court. I'll wait to get my court notice. Or they'll give you the court date on the notice to appear. They're actually supposed to give you that court date. But I've seen cases where police officers have put Saturdays and Sundays because they don't know how to look at a calendar. I've seen cases where the police have forgotten to put an apartment number or a suite number where you live. And then what happens is those court dates that are written on the notice to appear are very often switched and changed by the clerk of the court. So if that happens and you don't have an attorney, well, you're going to miss your real court date. You may show up to only find out that they moved your court date up 3 days and that you have a warrant. You may show up to court and then they're going to tell you, hey, we don't have anything in the system yet for you. And then 2 weeks later, it might magically pop up in the system. And again, if your suite number, apartment number is wrong, if they misspell your name or something and USPS rejects it, you're not going to show up when you're supposed to, which means you're going to have a warrant out for your arrest. When you hire an attorney, those mistakes are not supposed to happen. So that's just one of the concerns about notice to appear. But all in all, a notice to appear is a much better thing than getting arrested. Another way to get a notice to appear would be if it is a misdemeanor and the police review your criminal history and you have little to no criminal history. So that's another way. If they look at you and think that, hey, this person's really not a danger, then they'll give you a notice to appear. A lot of times we've seen accompanying charges such as resisting arrest with or without violence or a battery. And if those kind of cases come, or charges come accompanying a shoplifting charge, then the chances of getting a notice to appear are very low. Most likely you're going to be arrested and booked in the jail. If you upset the police officer, if you're a bit of a jerk, if the cop's a jerk to you and you give it back to them and you guys are getting into it, well, then the chances of a police officer, using their discretion and saying, nope, I'm arresting you, right? Even though it's a misdemeanor, they can increase significantly. So they might just take you to jail to prove a point. So that's another reason why you really just, when you're in that moment, we tell all of our clients, look, it's not about winning or losing. It's about just being quiet and living to fight another day and let us take over and make things right. Now, if the value is $750 or more, well, then that's a felony. And the rules are, if it's a felony, they have to take you to jail. You have to be booked. So that's what's going to happen. And you're going to go to the county jail. So if that's in Broward, that's going to be Broward Sheriff's Office or BSO's main jail. If that's in Palm Beach, that's going to be at Gun Club, which is PBSO, Palm Beach Sheriff's Office, their main jail. And if it's in Miami-Dade, it's going to be at the Miami-Dade County Jail. And what's going to happen is they may give you a standard bond, which would be, okay, maybe $1,000, $500, as soon as you get booked, which does take a few hours, they'll say, all right, standard bond is this, post it, and you get out of here. right? That's usually what will happen for at least a misdemeanor. Even low-level felonies like felony shoplifting is still a low-level felony. Or if you can't post that bond, or if they do put a hold for magistrate for first appearance court, then you're gonna have to spend the night and see a judge the next morning. And at that first appearance court, there's a lot of things going on. So one of the things is, really the goal, let me back up a little bit. The goal of this is to determine release conditions, right? Are you a danger to the community? Are you going to show up for court and address this case? Or are you just going to flee the country or travel back home or never show up, right? And that's when they talk about money bond versus some type of pretrial release or pretrial supervision. For these type of cases, we don't like our clients on pretrial release or pretrial supervision. We don't like that because it's kind of like being on probation while the case is going on. And for a case of this level, magnitude, which is still pretty low, why should you be monitored by the government? Why should you have more opportunities to make a mistake, mess up? Maybe they might make you take a drug test. What happens if you don't call in when you're supposed to? Warrants go out for your arrest, right? So we'd rather have our clients pay a little bit of money and get out of jail. But what they're going to be doing is, like I said before, they're going to be looking at, hey, what do we have to do to get this guy or girl to show up, right? And so they're going to look at, ties to the community. What kind of family do you have? Do you have a good job? Do you have children? Do you have your parents? How long have you lived in South Florida? Are you new? Are you not? Are you in school? Right? What's keeping you here? They're also going to look at what they allege happened and the severity level of the charges. And a lot of times we get hired in cases where somebody gets arrested and cannot post bond, and then we have to be there that next morning to argue for the lowest, cheapest, easiest conditions of bond, and we coordinate with a bail bondsman to get that client out. And then if there is a money bond, then you hire a bail bondsman. Usually you pay them 10%, or you can pay the full amount. So, for example, on a $1,000 bond, you can either hire a bail bondsman, usually for $100, or you can pay $1,000 to get out. And when you pay that $1,000, when the case is over, you get that money back. But when you hire a bail bondsman, that $100 is their fee. That's how they make their money. So that's, a big part of if you're actually taken to jail, what happens, what those next steps are and what happens and how do you get out. When you're released from jail, what happens next differs by the counties. So in Palm Beach and Miami, you will usually get your court date when you leave jail. They're going to give you one automatically. In Broward, you don't get a court date automatically. You're only going to get one when the prosecutors file the case. And on these type of cases, prosecutors, it usually takes them 30 to 40 days to file a case. We call that the pre-filing stage. There's a lot of things that we do in this pre-filing stage to try to get cases dismissed, but you really need to know and make sure, hey, do I have a court date, like you would in Miami or Palm Beach when you leave, versus, okay, it's Broward County, I'm out of Broward County, I got out of the jail, and now I have to wait. If I don't hire an attorney, I have to wait for something to come in the mail. And again, earlier in this video, we talked about all of the issues with the mail and what happens and all the pitfalls that can happen when you don't show up to court or you don't check your mail. So hopefully this video gave you folks a good idea of what happens in court after you're either arrested or given a notice to appear for shoplifting cases. If you have any questions, you can always call us at 754-206-6200. We do free strategy sessions where we really get to know our clients. We go in depth with them about their case. We talk about all of the things that we're talking about in these videos, except generally we're going to narrow it down to you in your specific case. We have some more topics on this as well, so continue to follow along with not just this video, but all of our videos. Feel free to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and we hope to see you on the next one.